Hello everybody, this is ZigZagZog coming to you from somewhere in this world, and we're back to continue our playthrough of Empire Total War featuring Darthmod and the 40 unit save version. We just had our fun with some activity in Persia, so we're going to start focusing on getting our forces ready for the final push on Kashmir. But before we move out of Persia, I want to come over here real quick. I noticed out of the corner of my eye, there used to be some sort of force over here, and I can't quite remember what it is. So we're going to move our rake that happens to be over here a little farther forward, see if we can pick them back up, just so we can keep an eye on their activity over here. And there they are, and it's a bigger stack than I seem to recall, so maybe there's been some consolidating going on or something. But we definitely want to keep an eye on this force, because what we may have to do, I don't have a large concern about this little remnant force here, but we want to bring our forces back. I feel confident we can fight through these miscellaneous forces and then move on what is hopefully not a full stack and over here in Persia, Esfahan. So that's the plan. Now if things for some reason prove difficult in Persia after we take out Kashmir, we may need to do a little final support over here in Persia before we move south against Mysore. So that's kind of the plan. One thing I noticed is this army's been sitting here and I've never bothered. I've overlooked it. I've gone down here and we replenished and strengthened this army down in Hindustan, but never touched the army up here. So we need to get that done now, right away, as we work to move up towards this battle farther north. And it's we want to be at full strength because there's a pretty good garrison up there, so we don't want to just take them for granted. So let's get replenished up here while we have the funds, and let's find out if we're able to move out of here, as a matter of fact. Getting ourselves up to the border, and let's take a look at what public order. Ooh, look at that! We were able to take every single piece out of there. Now the next thing to find out is how many are we going to be able to get out of Hindustan before we have some problems here. Why don't we start with, say, 8, and it looks like, I think line infantry is just a tiny bit better than the VOC infantry, only on melee attack. Really, that's really the only difference. So we'll see if we can take out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's take 8 of them out and see, and then we'll check the order.
Nog meer orders.
What's the public order look like now? We're a little bit overextended, so let's just start picking one at a time to send back. Oh, look at that. And we have just enough to maintain order here, at least while we can get this force up to reinforce over here. So it's a nice consolidation. I feel a lot better, at least having some full strength troops to move in up here. We'll have to see, hopefully next turn then we can get up here and get this battle going, unless we see some significant growth in our defenses over here. I think we'll be ready to take them on. Let's see if we can have a sense. Yeah, we aren't looking at a lot of artillery or any such thing like that, unless there are mortars up here for the garrison on defense. So I think we're ready to move for Kashmir next turn. With that being done, I think we're done for the moment in India. I want to take a look back over in our main area here, and the reason being, last episode I mentioned that we have all our schools with all the potential research being done that we can so far without building next higher buildings. And guess what? We have some next higher buildings over on the military side. Do we have any problems on this side? Now, once we finish this research, we'll be able to go to the modern university. So what we need to do over here is build a military academy, which apparently we have not done yet. And over here we are able to, and apparently we have not yet built a naval college. So let's go over here and spend the money on the military academy. Spend the money on, I think this is naval, yeah, on the highest naval, no, we have a naval college right here. So the only thing, so I don't have to upgrade unless I really want to build the final building right here, which all it does is prestige, happiness all around, lowers the upkeep on naval units. So yeah, I'm actually going to bite the bullet on that one because the Navy is a big part of our upkeep and cost. So we're gonna go for the next highest building. So the only thing holding us up here is some research. And then as far as our naval upkeep, that's 19,415. So if we can lower that by 5%, which is I think is what this told us it is, that's going to help us out big time. Potentially in the future, if we have to worry about losing British income and or Russian income in our final steps of this playthrough. So I think that's about it. We got about 12,000 left. Why don't we go over to the Americas this time and see what kind of upgrades we can do over here that might be worthwhile. We can get up to a nice commercial base in here in the Mexico area. What have we got to upgrade here on this port? Well, we don't really need the dry dock. Why don't we see if we can go for there's a nice cheap upgrade. Church school, nice cheap upgrade. Any of our mines ready to upgrade? No, but our Iron Master's work is ready to upgrade. Another farm. Oh, excuse me, this is a palatial estate. So this is the top of the line farm here down in this area. Where are we? Oh, this is still the tail end of the Mexican area. So let's get up to the upper palatial estate. That'll also help our income and population growth. And that's probably it. All I'm going to do now is kind of go through our lists, make sure there's nobody else I want to get moved, and we'll come back if I find anybody we want to deal with. Okay, we need to continue our trek north with our missionaries here because it's southern, and in fact we're going to have to go very far north in order to start our conversions. We have Protestantism in the Michigan territory. How are we looking up here? And we need some boost in the Algonquin territory also. So we'll continue our trek north with our missionaries, any of them that happen to be down here.
Ik kan niet verder.
In the lower, like, here we go, Cherokee territory. Continue to move north to help with our conversions.
Ik rust.
There we go. And I think here in India also, we can afford, we're at 94% Protestantism. I think we can afford moving to a lesser Protestant area now. So we'll just cross the border up here. We also have a College of Divinity down here to help with continued conversions, I believe. So we should be in good shape. And why don't we, with this guy up in Persia that we gained sight of here, why don't we see if we can infiltrate the town? Keep an eye over here.
Ik bespioneer.
And we were successful. Okay, so I think everybody has been moved, money has been spent, and there's nothing else to do, so we're going to head on to the next turn, and we'll see you on the other side. Okay, we're back. Nothing interesting or so interesting happened in between turns. We have a bunch of successful agent actions, so we'll just kind of rotate through them. And what have we got here? We've gained a trait. We lost some zeal when converting in America. Well, he ought to pick that back up. We're moving north to some new areas where there isn't so much Protestantism. So I'm sure he'll gain that back when he starts some necessary preaching again. And we've had some natural cause deaths. An admiral. We've lost an admiral on what? Oh, way over here we're going to need to hire a new admiral, I do believe.
Aye, aye.
And let's pick a vessel. We'll not pick a fourth rate. Let's do a good old second rate where we can see about hiring an admiral. We can afford it.
Orders?
And now we have an admiral for a very important navy of ours. We've lost someone else here, a gentleman. So we'll have to see, and nothing we can do about it now until we recruit another gentleman, which is somewhat randomized, but we'll see next turn if we happen to have a new gentleman join the ranks. And we continue to do a massive building program here, which let's just take a quick peek at our income. Yeah, it's over 39 and a half. That's where we want it. We want it over 39 because that's what we got to stay ahead of. Of course, now the trade income is raising faster than our own personal income, so I can't even keep ahead of the trade income. So we're still falling behind. If we lose trade with both Russia and Britain at the same time, we're probably going to have to make some tough choices. And little history lesson: lightning is electricity. Due to the lengthy delay in constructing the Philadelphia church, upon he wished to test his lightning rod in order to channel lightning strikes to the ground without damage to people or buildings, American Philosophical Society founder Benjamin Franklin proposed an experiment in order to prove that lightning is indeed composed of electricity. The theory states that electricity should be able to pass from the cloud to the ground via the wet string of a kite with a key attached to attract the current. Following much speculation on the matter, Frenchman Thomas Francois Delibard has proved Franklin's theory by using a 40-foot iron rod instead of a kite, observed electrical sparking from the cloud, and survived. Other scientists have not been so lucky. Jeez. George Wilhelm Reichmann of St. Petersburg was killed in the process due to insufficient insulation, leaving little behind but a smoldering pair of shoes. Upon completion of the church, Franklin fitted his sharpened lightning rod to its spire, stating, "The electrical fire would, I think, be drawn out of a cloud silently before it could come near enough to strike." Although he has been proved correct, the Catholic Church in Europe have banned lightning rods as man-made objects designed to work against the will of God. Such competing thoughts back in the era. Wow. So let's get back over to our most active area right now, and that would be over in India. And we're going to see if we can head north and see if we want to see about heading up. And let's see if we can bring, how is the public order here? We can probably manage to move some more army forces out of here. And I'm thinking, let's just bring a few forward if we can. We'll try another 5 and see how that does our public order. Yeah, not quite. So we still got to be careful. Okay, so we'll bring another 3 forces up, and all I'm planning to do with these forces is hold them in Punjab for the moment. And Punjab. There's the heavy American accent coming out on that one. Punjab. And we're going to make our move on Kashmir and put this Mughal Empire to rest. We do seem to have the advantage. They do definitely have mortars, but it's an open field battle. Do they have many? They have some camel nomads. They have a general's bodyguard with elephants. Otherwise, everybody else is ground crew. So I'm thinking with that many mortars, we should be able to maneuver around a bit with our cavalry, which we do have some, at least 3 dragoons there. So I think we'll be able to deal with the mortars and come out on top. That's my hope. We definitely outnumber them 5,900 to 4,900. So the outnumbering isn't amazing. So once we take out the mortars, it can totally swing the balance of our numbers into their favor if we don't deal with them quickly enough. Then we'll have problems. But other than that, we're just going to go straight on in and start this battle. So we'll see you on the battlefield. Okay, so on this one, I would say we definitely need to work on our deployment. Let's get a sense. Okay, they have a pretty wide area, swath of territory in which they could potentially start. We're going to have issues with these hilly areas right here as far as traversing them. But it looks like they could have mortars over on this high ground for just because that's an eventuality or a possibility. The hills to come around on this side are just nasty, so we're probably going to have to worry. Oof. Let's cross our fingers that the mortars are not placed right here, because we'd have to probably come all the way or pretty far around here to get to them. A big loop, and who knows what they'd have in the way. Hopefully their mortars and most of their armies are going to be out this way, avoiding the hills for themselves. So I'm going to go get set up, and then we will return and be right back. Okay, here we are. We do not have our own artillery, so we outnumber greatly with our own cavalry, though, and that's what we're going to have to use our advantage to take away the mortar threat. We have our basic line right here in front, and we do have reserve unit right here of militia, and the rest of the reserves are back here. I think that's going to be fine. So we're going to have to be aggressive moving forward, I would think. What I will do is we'll get our front line all the way highlighted. So we can move forward as soon as we start this battle to bring the battle to them. What I'm going to assume is with the mortars, they're going to hang back. That's why I'm planning to move forward with our own line. And then based on where we see the mortars, then we will quickly... Hopefully the mortars, as I said, aren't over here. We will quickly then bring the cavalry into action and go from there. There are the mortars straight in front of us. We're going to come across right here, and we're going to bring our cavalry out right away from both wings. Have to be careful of the defensive structures they've put in place. We're taking damage on our line right now, and depending on how they set up and how quickly they set up, cavalry is going to be in a world of trouble. So let's split them up a little bit against the mortars. Try and take them out, but not have all our eggs in one basket for their retaliation. And we'll have one unit just of cavalry go straight against the Gurkhas, and we have our own forces are wavering big time, and we are not seeing a lot of mortars going out, so cavalry has taken some big hits. But that's just to deal with the mortars. I was willing to take that chance. But we have the mortars retreating at the moment. And we got our infantry moving up to follow up on our cavalry here. But I think we've addressed the mortars in fine fashion here now. So it's time to pull any of our units back that we have to get them secure. We'll have our line all ready to take over. Heavy casualties for the cavalry. We're going to bring our reserves right here. We need to bring the rest of our forces back. They're in melee, and we got to get them disengaged before we lose any more. Don't go back in. Don't let them draw you in. Don't be foolish. There we go. Finally, I think we've broken down our engagement with the cavalry. Now we've got the battle set the way we want the battle to be set, now that we've taken care of the mortars. They're still going to try to enclose, and they've got some morale here to be able to continue to close through that withering fire. So we're going to bring some of this cavalry forward to try and break this charge. And everybody else is at a distance, and we can start advancing on that. We broke their momentum. They are shattered, so we don't have to worry about them. What we're going to do is get this sorted out here, and then we'll start advancing with the rest of our units. And the advance begins. Now they're going up the hill. We won't have much ability to counter that at the moment. We're going to move up this far. The units moving up there are musketmen, so I think what we'll do is we'll slide a few of these units over here, so at least we can bring some firepower up the hill should it be necessary. We're going to start taking some of our cavalry off to the flanks to work around their lines in that fashion. In fact, we're going to take all of our cavalry around because there's no way to get up these hills with my cavalry. We will not be doing any flanking on this side. And what we'll try to do is, once we get the line battle going, is, as we said, taking our cavalry and just start rolling up their line as we have a good old-fashioned line battle. And they're getting off the first shots of us before we get set. Pretty soon we'll start returning the fire. What we'll do, the potential for the weakest side for us is over here. We'll bring our reserves on this side. Well, we have these, I take that back. We have these units I brought over to guard or bring fire up the hill if we needed it. So we do have some reserves, de facto reserves on this side. So our massive cavalry is pretty well set. We're going to bring them up the forest now to get ready to roll up the line. Okay, we got camel nomads. We're charging in on the camel nomads. We vastly outnumber them, and I think we can handle it. That'll free everybody up to work on the ground units for flanking purposes. We may have some melee battles coming up that we're going to have to deal with, so it would be nice if we could deal with the camels and handle the camels sooner rather than later. And we do have them faltering. Alright, looks like we are going to be locked into melee. Let's bring these forces in the back. in to support a melee charge. And since they aren't needed up the hill anymore, we're going to bring these around over here in a rush. And we're pushing them back already. Camels have shattered. Bring the rest of our troops that did not follow the attack to work on the general's bodyguard. In fact, we're going to work on two directions from the general's bodyguard. All our cavalry will come on down because our center is holding. Looks like they had some pikes involved in the battle, and everybody is retreating. And if we should have the good fortune of taking out their general, things will fall rapidly. They're going to be tough. I think we'll take heavy casualties trying to deal with it this way, and we've also got some more units coming in to try and bring it to us. So we're going to break off with the elephants as best we can. Let's take on the foot soldiers where we should have a more definite advantage. Deal with this way. And right now everybody is mostly retreating except for this very tough musket garrison over here. So we're going to bring our troops forward on this side to help support against the general, and we're going to do it at a run. Because our cavalry will wither if we don't get there fast enough. Enemy general has fallen, however, so that's good news. Bring the full force against the ground units here. And with them starting to fade, we're going to withdraw or attempt to withdraw our cavalry so we can bring our muskets to fire. So we're getting some regrouping going on over here, but they don't come back at very good strength. So it would appear we have this battle in hand. We're going to do a quick advance over here if we can. Looks like we very well could have some more melee battles coming up. So we'll charge in our reserves here to help bolster the line. And once again, bring our cavalry back into the action to run the enemy down. Side of the line will now swing over. We almost have a full retreat in progress. Once we knock out this reformed line and are about to waver, we should see victory become ours. Unless somebody at the last minute like this reforms. And they do. We've gained ourselves a victory here. So we'll end the battle since it is a city battle. And there we go. We had success losing a little over 1,000 compared to their almost 5,000. And we've taken the final territory of the Mughals. So any remaining forces we saw before the battle are now history. And the nation, the Mughal Empire, has been destroyed. So we will be able to now think about completing our moves and our actions over here that we desire. The first thing we're going to do is bring this Persian force over here. We're going to once again make sure everybody is back up to full strength, as next turn then we will move on to take this territory and rid the Persians of their lone, well, at least at this point, their lone naval base, since they were a little pesky with their navy prior to this. Now what happened is the largest army, they brought a small little remnant army down to Kabul, but the main army took off down the road. And I think we're going to take our rake out of the city and try to follow that main army. I could care less about a smaller force like this. We can always react pretty well to that, I think. And let's get my agent moving to try and keep tabs of the main Persian army that was over in this area. And we do not see it so far.
Ik zwijg als het graf.
And there we go. So we'll just stop right there, keeping our eyes on them, because as we move over here towards this capital, we want to definitely make sure they aren't going to accidentally or in the meantime get reinforced by this force, because that would definitely change the odds of winning that battle. And in the meantime, let's repair what we can here. Let's see if we can reinforce this army, replace our casualties, and I think for the brief moment we're done in India. So what I'd like to keep an eye on, or get a sense of, is I want to take my navy out of port here real quick, just to do a little pre-scouting. It's a little too early. It's not like we're going to move against the British right away, but I kind of want to get a better sense of their force distribution down here in the Americas. And not too much in the Bahamas. I also want to take a peek down here, make sure they don't have a visible navy down here that we might have to worry about. And there isn't, and the force here isn't super massive, and it is not fully replenished, so that helps give me a little bit of an idea at least on what we're facing. We do have a small navy up here with a small force, so this is the type of information I wanted for when if we end up having to go to actual physical battle against the British. It's time to start being aware of what they have where.
Kapitein. Zijn de orders, kapitein?
And we kind of already know up in New York, in that vicinity. I'm thinking this is what we'll do. I'm going to take some units here. How about these units right down here on the bottom? And I'm thinking we're going to send them north. To help just give a little extra oomph to our forces up here in the Iroquois territory as we move against New York as necessary. So we'll do that. These forces down here should be more than enough then, based on what I'm seeing, along with our Navy, to take care of any island threats down here. The only other minor threat we have is from these forces here, and if we're moving against New York, I would like to think they'd go north to reinforce as opposed to attack down south, but you never know. But if that's all the forces they have to attack with down there, we'll be able to react. So I just wanted to get a little bit of a picture there. What we can do with our remaining funds is see about upgrading our economy, buildings, infrastructure kind of things. We'll go ahead with a little church building because that's cheap. We'll upgrade the farm. We can upgrade the fishery. What have we got here on Hispaniola? We got another farm we can upgrade. We got a port, fishery. Another port, this time a dry dock. I don't know that I necessarily, well, we should have one dry dock down in the Americas, but that's not the port I'm thinking of upgrading. So we're burning through our funds. We're down to 19,000. Let's start moving up north along the coast here, see if we have anything to upgrade along the way. We got a palatial estate that we've upgraded to there. We're down to 15,000. We still have room to upgrade. Commercial basin will do. And we're getting to the point where I think we are done. And so once again, I'm going to go through our list, make sure there's nobody else that I need to move, and you know, we still got 50% to convert over here, so we're fine. And see if we have anybody else I want to move, and if so, I'll let you know. Okay, we have this one more missionary to get moving north, and I think this is a territory, yeah, 75%, so he can start doing some more conversions there. And all the rest of the rakes are just fine. So we are ready to go on to yet another turn. We got a little time left in the episode, so we're going to take that next turn and see if anything surprising pops on up. All right, we've completed lime juice and sauerkraut, so it's moved us up to preserved food as our next technology. I don't think I'm going to need to adjust that. And we have a bunch of, once again, successful rake missions. We've gained a trait, +1 morale in battles, and that is here because he's a happy drinker sitting in town conducting his practice battles. So there you go. We gained our 3 more vessels there to help us out, and construction port dwindling just a little bit. Let's take a look at how soon we're going to be able to move our forces out from the north to start moving south. And then there's one other thing I noticed over here in Persia. The army disappeared once again, and I'm not sure. I think I saw a significant army moving back yet again, so I'm going to find out if he moved back. And he apparently did not. So I have now officially lost track of the opposition army, and I don't know exactly where it's headed. But what I'm going to do in the meantime is we are going to take this force here and start working on advancing over here. We will take away the threat to the port area first by coming over here. And he is able to get reinforced. Holy smokes, where is he getting reinforced from? Okay, just 1 unit there. Aha. There's apparently, is this not a navy? I guess what we're going to do is fight this out. It's giving them the advantage, although these are reinforcements. But that's the advantage to them because, so what that tells me is all these 3 are armies, 1 right in the port and 2 more outside the port. So the battle is a little more difficult than I expected. They have artillery, but not to start, so the only artillery they have will be coming in as reinforcements. So we should hopefully, if we can take care of this quick, find out where the reinforcements are coming from and nip it in the bud and deal with it that way. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to fight 1 more battle for the end of this episode. We'll see you down on the battlefield. Okay, it's hard to predict exactly where the reinforcements will be coming from. So I guess without that specific knowledge, we're just going to keep our forces where they are right here, and we'll just react depending on what we see. His deployment is right in the center. We're just going to move as quickly as possible with part of our forces because we vastly outnumber him. That's starting on the field. Everybody else is going to stay mobile, and we'll keep scanning for where the reinforcements are going to be coming in, and then attack. So let's see where he's setting up. Right there in the front. Forward, men. There are some camel gunners, so we will reinforce with our own cavalry. And the reinforcements are coming in over on this side, so they're coming in quick on the side. Take our own cavalry off on this side. We'll take our own reserves off on this side. So we're getting overwhelmed early on. So imagine I was a little aggressive in moving those forces forward, so let's hurry up and get ourselves set here. And in the meantime, we can bring our cavalry in to help us out. And we'll bring some reserve lines over here also. So they're coming down to reinforce there. And I did not see that they moved, so let's get our forces moved also. We're going to take our cavalry over here to blunt their camel nomads on this side. Bring the rest of our units up to support so we can use our number advantage. Right now they are showing an ability to outmaneuver us, which is embarrassing when you let the AI outmaneuver you, but they sure are outmaneuvering us. And we got pikemen coming in, so it is time to withdraw our forces. We're going to come back here if we can pull out. And they are basically looking to, as I said, outmaneuver us. They're able to bring better numbers against us. And they're coming in, flanking with their cavalry, with their camels. And we don't have a lot that we can counter with right at the moment. The enemy general has fallen. We are starting to hold a little bit where we've been set. So as long as we can set, we're able to hold. So we're going to bring our rest of our forces around to the front. We're going to risk tiring these units and get them on the run. The camels are finally withdrawing, so we have held against the camels on our flank, thank goodness. Good job, men, you held well, and actually we didn't take as many casualties as I might have thought. Keep you back in reserve. pretty quickly. We're going to probably want to bring you up to join the line here. And keep you guys as reserves on the flank. And all of a sudden we have a line forming against these guys. Now all their guys are coming down to where they used to be, which is going to put them in a pretty good position to try and flank us here. So then it's going to be a matter of starting to pull back our lines a little bit. Now we got camel gunners over here, and we have their artillery now, which we don't have anything to counter with. Our cavalry is long gone, did not hold up to their charges the way we had been using them. So we're drawing them back, so it would appear to be time to swing down this way. And with this side having drawn them off or driven them off, it's time to correct our line over here also. And then we will work on figuring out how to advance. Although we're going to do a quick advance right here. In lieu of not having cavalry, we're going to charge in some infantry. And once again, we have a remnant cavalry unit that's going to charge in on us. Take us out. Put a little delaying force in over here. At least we're taking out the artillery. More enemy generals falling. And we've almost taken out all of their artillery forces now, except we're about to be hit by camels. So let's charge on in. More than we bargained for down here. So we're fighting an ugly and uncoordinated, discombobulated battle down here based on the reinforcements not coming in anywhere close to where I might have expected, and us being strung out in the wrong kind of way. And what do you know? So far we're holding them off. And you've been in battles against cavalry. Let's bring you in some more for some more last minute support, see if we can turn the tide. And I think we just might be able to with this last little push from this cavalry. And then it's infantry on infantry, and that is where we have an advantage. It is where we have the strength. So we're going to adjust our lines. If that's the way they want to face, that's the way we shall deal with it. I'm fine going head on, infantry to infantry now with them. Now let's take this guy out. Kind of the last non-line threat is broken and ready to run away. Keep up the pressure. Can we shatter him as he runs? Otherwise he's going to reform and be a problem for us. Although he only is down. He's shattered. So this is now our reserve unit. We're going to see if we can't run in there a little faster to help support this battle with these camel gunners right here. And they're starting to waver right now. And they are shattered, so let's get these units back as reserves over here. Now we have the advantage. We're uphill. We have our line against their line, and I think we are back in control. And their line is resetting based on how we reset. I think with that in mind, we take advantage of the confusion and start to advance. We are definitely able to provide the superior firepower. Let's get this side of the line inching forward now. With reserves set over here. And some reserves set over here. Since they're going to be disorganized, we're going to continue pushing. Every time they're showing disorganization, that's when we're going to push forward. So enemy generals are falling left and right, so that's not going to help their morale in the long run. Have this unit out on the wings. That is a little bit awkward. And they're just out of range over here. I'll tell you what, we're pushing it. We're moving forward. They're still moving. Keep the second row off fire at will, just to charge in the support. Same here. We're now close enough to start doing that damage. Like they're going to try charging into our center here. Musketeers, that's a surprising unit to do the charge with. soon as this flank folds just a little bit, we're gonna see about advancing on this left side. They've shown a definite inability to properly form their lines in this battle. We're gonna run forward now. And that's played into our ability to advance on them, and we're going to do it again. Keep the pressure up. And since we aren't apparently needing our reserves, let's get them out on the flank so we can, if this unit continues to be a bother over here, we're just going to charge in on them and get rid of them. The dervishes are charging in. Our unit for support on that is pretty far back, but we're going to charge on down. I didn't advance them with the line, which is a mistake, but they've already been wavering. They've reformed multiple times, so they aren't as strong as they normally would have been had that charge happened right at the beginning of the battle. Okay, we can hold off our reserves here now for the next threat. Now is where we start trying to get some crossfire going. This unit has broken. I'm going to keep my... They're probably going to reform, so I'm going to keep these guys following them. I don't feel the need for reserves on this side. Let's speed up the advance here. Now, unfortunately, having lost our limited, of course it was limited cavalry, but having lost the cavalry early, don't have any ability to run them down, so we're just going to keep the pressure on by slowly moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. We appear to have just about all of them in retreat again. Almost at the same time. There's nobody else on the field anywhere else, and we got our victory. Normally this is where I'd try running them down to reduce their numbers, but it looks like we're going to have to eventually be doing battle again with these guys. Alright, so lost men, 1349. Most of those got lost at the beginning of the battle when we were a little out of sorts and scattered, subjected to their cavalry camel charges. But once we were able to form our lines, our superior firepower came to bear. So they have only remaining 1,197 soldiers, so better than I expected. So mostly remnants remaining and out of the port. So I didn't notice that one biggest stack that was sitting in the port as thinking that was a unit. So that's why I think we were caught a little bit by surprise, but we ended up recovering okay. So we're going to end the battle. We're going to end the episode here at this point. It's been plenty long, and we got a couple little battles in there. Hope you enjoyed them. If you did, in any way, shape, or form, if it's not too much trouble for you, hit that thumbs up for me, because it really helps the channel and helps a video get noticed. And that's what I need right now, is a small channel. Thanks so much. This is ZigZagZog signing off from somewhere in this world. I hope to see you next time.